Good morning, Wareham. It is Friday, September 6th, and we have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. This morning, your favorites in one sitting. But first, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay tuned because the weather and the news headlines are next. Cloudy in the morning today, then off and on rain showers during the afternoon hours, high at 71. Cloudy with periods of rain tonight with low at 62. We will be experiencing some gusty winds tonight. You're looking at 25 to 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow, tropical storm conditions are a possibility. Cloudy, windy with rain in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. High at 66, and winds at 25 to 35 miles an hour with low at 54. On Sunday, it's going to be clear, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny with high at 74 and low at 53. And speaking of weather, we have Jason, who is in Florida, and he tracked Hurricane Dorian on our behalf.
Thank you, Queen. I'm reporting from Port Orange, Florida, here about 3 miles inland from Daytona Beach. As you can see behind me, there are branches and debris fallen from trees as well as boarded up windows, and this is all due to that one name that has been haunting Floridians for over a week, and that is Dorian. Now, this storm has been all over the place. Originally, it was reported it was going to hit Miami directly and then work its way up the peninsula, but as days have gone on, it has been pushed more and more eastbound to the point where the eye of the storm has been completely off the coast. Now, with that being said, doesn't mean we're not getting anything. As you can see, we're still getting the surrounding storm from the eye. We're still getting hit with the edge of the storm. In some cases, that's tropical force winds and rain. In other cases, that's still hurricane force winds and rain. Now, luckily, this area was hit with the worst of it early this morning. That's around 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. But again, we're not completely out of it yet. We're still going to be getting scattered showers and winds in this area up until 10 p.m. tonight. This is Wednesday, September 4th, when I'm recording this. By the time you guys are seeing this, it'll be much closer to you than it is to me as it makes its way up the East Coast. It's expected to hit North Carolina, probably the worst, although it could still push more and more to the east. I don't think it's actually supposed to hit you guys with any force, but it will be off into the Atlantic Ocean right near you guys. So yeah, it's wet and wild out here, and I hope things stay better for you guys. Jason Ellis for WCTV here in Port Orange, Florida, signing off.
So thank you so much, Jason. Jason is down there in Florida for school, and well, lucky that things have not escalated in a worse way, but unlucky for him that it's raining and it's miserable in Florida. It's kind of nice down here. Anyhow, we are going to we're not taking a break. We're coming back with the news headlines. Wareham Week had the following stories. We're going to start with the Onset Bay Association, who are seeking new members. The nonprofit civic corporation was created to enhance the quality of life in the Onset Village area. The association organizes and promotes culture and beautification activities that take place throughout the year in Onset Village, including Summer of Love music series, Onset Blues Festival, Illumination Night, beautification committee, kayak, poker run and boat show, family fun days, onset Wareham fireworks, and many more. Money from the membership will be used to pay for the next year's fireworks, to fund almost all the other programs in the association's current budget, and to increase the salary of Kat Jones, the Onset Bay Association Executive Director. One does not have to believe in Onset in order to become a member. For more information about the Onset Bay Association and upcoming events, please go to www.onsetbay.org. And to another news of the day, Mass Audubon has formally taken ownership of the Sacred Hearts property, and the land is now part of the Great Neck Wildlife Sanctuary, which now stretches over more than 200 acres and features 1 mile of coastline. In February of this year, the Audubon Society raised the $2.6 million to purchase the 110-acre property. The sanctuary also abuts an additional 130 acres of land protected by the conservation restrictions. The protected land features many different habitats, salt marshes, coastal forests, and beaches. The land is also home to a healthy population of amphibians and reptiles, including eastern box turtles. And to another news of the day, Wareham. The Wareham River, already a popular spot for crabbing, could be the site of a fishing pier. Town planner Ken Buckland has a meeting scheduled with the Massachusetts Recreation Fisheries Project. The pier would be located near Old Train Station on Merchants Way, in a location central to downtown Wareham. Although the pier would need to cross the railroad tracks, Buckland and Selectman Alan Slavin have been in conversation with the railroad and think it is possible to gain access and build the pier. The pier could be the first piece of the broad work first proposed in 2013, which would connect the Tremont Nail factory site to Bessie Park along the river. The broad work has been a discussion and has been discussed as part of a larger plan to revitalize Wareham Village by making it a destination for people looking to have a night out or spend an afternoon. The broad work would make the village more friendly to pedestrians and provide better access to the picturesque views of the river. And that's all for today's news. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with more. Just a 1-minute break. Welcome back. Stevie Baptiste of Onset celebrated his 80th birthday and hosted his yearly Airborne Reunion event this week. And here is a little bit of what took place. Who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still.
I'm going to give you a little brief synopsis of my 80 years of life. Brief. I was born September 2nd, 1939 in New Gloucester, Maine. My school history. I went to Oak Grove School, my grammar school here, and I was a pretty smart kid. My mom and dad got divorced, so everything went to hell. And Mara, I'm sorry for saying that, but anyway, like Mark Twain said, I didn't have much schooling, but a lot of education. I think that applies to me. I went into service 2 days after my 17th birthday. I was in Fort Dix, just a baby. And November 10th, I went down to hell, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Well, anyway, I went through jump school in January of '57. In April, I went to Germany. They put me, after going through 2nd 8 weeks on a 105 house, I was assigned to B Company, 502nd, 2nd Airborne Battle Group, down in Munich, Germany. And I was carrying a BAR. From a 105 howitzer to a BAR. What, 24 pounds, maybe 30 pounds with all the ammo and all that. But anyway, there I was. Another hell spot. I thought I was going to Germany to be a tourist, and I was training to be a mountain goat. Well, anyway, August of '59, I got discharged. But I joined the police department here sometime in September, October 1961. Chief Clifton Keyes gave me my badge, and he's passed on. Not bragging about it, but I'm kind of proud of it that I was the youngest promoted sergeant. I think I still am, Chief, Lieutenant, on the Wareham Police Department. I was 28 years old when I made sergeant, civil service. And I'm kind of proud of that too. But anyway, we've had a lot of fun there. It's been hard work. Am I finishing with my 80? Yeah, okay. The 19 airborne reunions. My beautiful wife Munja is here. Worked her butt off today. My daughter-in-law Nami and Chung and Yang He Shi. Jong Kamsam Hamida. They've worked their butts off. My brothers, let me tell you something. It has been my utmost honor for 19 years sharing everything that I have with my airborne brothers. It made me the man I am today. Believe you me, I wouldn't have been as successful if I wasn't a paratrooper. And I mean that with all the sincere in my heart. Thank you guys for being my brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Irvin L. Tootsie Russell. I'm the chaplain of the Dudley L. Brown VFW Post 2846 here in Onset, and also the chaplain of the All Airborne Reunion 2019. Steve Baptiste is airborne qualified, but also he was a black cap. And he expounds on the fact that he was an elite member of that unit and was a unique individual in the fact that he was even selected to be a black cap out of many, many individuals that were qualified or there to assemble. And today we're going to try to reenact his black cap status by awarding him a black cap from the 11th Airborne Division for him to wear the remaining of the ceremony. And that means that he's a trainer of airborne individuals. Okay, now we begin to get back to our program, and we're going to begin. The colors have already been placed. So now we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Bill.
For you civilians, please place your right hand over your heart. And for you veterans, present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For all. Order, arms.
We've now got the great privilege of having Angela Cornelis to perform the national anthem. Remain standing, please.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular whose bursting in air gave proof through the night, while our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Angela will be performing later on at the Pierview restaurant with the KG Express singing group. And now you may be seated. We're going to be acknowledging the presence of all of the airborne here.
Jack Doucette, 11th Airborne Division, 1954 to 58, Augsburg, Germany.
Joe Chetwin, 7th Corps, Long Range Recon Patrol Company, Airborne, Nelligan, Germany, 61-64.
Peter Cavanaugh, to Special Forces, Vietnam, 63 to 66.
John A. Cole, 19. I hit jump school December 65, SAF Asia, January 66, Special Action Forces Asia and ASA. We had Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Korea. That was all our mission. First Special Forces Group, January 66 through 70 something, and then 68 in the Pentagon, then 10th Special Forces Group, Fort Devens, from 69 to 71, 483rd Combat Engineers down at Fort Rodman, did a few years there, Company C, and then 7 Military Police, 747, 77 Deuce, and then 97 Deuce, where Frank Ardita was my first sergeant at that time. And Special Forces put me into their group 1996 as a permanent whatnot there, and that's where I am, and I just turned 78 years old, July 23rd. So thank you, Jesus, and the good Lord's work. And it's not anything I've done, but what you do is set the example, provide the opportunity, walk through the gates, and kick the door open for others. If it hadn't been for Tootsie Russell, I wouldn't be here. Because 2007 I was here, 2010, and I didn't know Special Forces guys like us could attend. Up until he said, yeah, we can let you come down. So it's been a pleasure, and my fellow right there, John Almeida, who everybody knows, who beat Billy Blanks in Japan, he's been with us for like 40-something years, and like I say, I humble myself enough, thank you, Jesus, to let others do for me what I can't do for myself, and it's a blessing to be here, and with that, Bendito a ti. Blessings be to everyone here because it's a ministry and not a job, and you're daily and professional. And for those of us who are in this age, there are very few of us left, so we are doing the Lord's work. And please, bless whoever we elect, because that's who we're going to be judged by when we're called to glory. Have a safe day, and thank you.
John Hildebrand, 82nd Airborne Division, sent to Germany for 26 months.
Good afternoon. Danny Tavares, 101st Airborne, 65 to 67. Every day's a blessing.
Rico Rodriguez, 82nd Airborne, 505, 1950-63. Thank you.
Phil Sheridan. I deployed to Vietnam with the 101st Airborne Division in December of 67. Stayed with them till December of 68. Volunteered for another 6 months active duty in Vietnam with the 173rd Airborne Brigade. Came home from Vietnam safely in June of 69, 50 years ago this past June. Thank you.
First Sergeant Michael Collins, 2nd Airborne Ranger Battalion, 1976 to 1981. First of the 509th Airborne, 1981 to 1983. Third of the 18th Infantry until 2001.
My honor to be here with all of you. John McEachran, 1956 to 59, reactivation of the 101st Airborne Division. I was the second jump class to go through on the reactivation.
George Barrows, 50 to 53, Fort Bragg and Fort Benning. Fred Jerome, born 1938, served from 1955 to 58, 456, field artillery, did 13 months in Korea.
Bill Frohling, 82nd Airborne, 71 through 74, 82nd Rigger Company, tried jumping without us.
Dick Parkwentz, 101st Airborne Division, Combat Aviation, Aircraft Crew Chief, 58 through 61.
Jim Reynolds, I was in the 2nd Battalion Airborne 505th Infantry in the 82nd from 77 to 79. I was in the 8th first of the 39th Infantry from 80 to 82. And I left the service after serving in the U.S. Army.
Bob Farrell, Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 504 Parachute Infantry, 82nd Airborne, August 68 to August 71.
Thank you, sir.
coming back. Anyhow, so right now we're moving on to another featured program, and that is Deacon's celebrating 50 years of existence, opening up a 1994 buried time capsule to find out exactly how time was back then.
25 years ago.
Miss Ansel, our school secretary, who has been here at Deacon's for some time now, had a map on her desk that said to be opened in 2019. And I said, well, what is this? And she said, oh, Bethany, we have to open it. It's from 25 years ago, and it's buried somewhere in the courtyard. I said, oh, how fantastic. So we began thinking about how we would do it, and we thought that we should have students from today, from present day, and our students from then be invited. So I put it on Facebook with a big invitation. 13,000 people saw it. They were so excited, sharing memories on Facebook. It was really amazing. And we have quite a few alumni here tonight to celebrate when we opened up that time capsule.
Well, I want to welcome all of you back to Deacon's School, whether it's now, today, or from 25 years ago. If you just retired and you're back, I'm so happy. Thank you. Welcome all of you. The reason why we're opening it tonight and today is it's our 50th anniversary at Deacon's School. And the people that put this together, the students from 25 years ago, asked us to open it on our 50th anniversary. So without further ado, Mr. Santos and Ms. Hazlitt are going to open up the time capsule from 1994. There. So it appears each grade put materials in here to preserve. We have Play-Doh, still relevant 25 years later, a little wet. Yeah, this is so cool. Look, Legos. It could be just like we put this time capsule together yesterday. We've got Legos. I guess we thought 25 years ago Legos wouldn't be in, but they're way in, and more in than ever. Wow, this is, oh, and an advertisement says charge it, and they are bicycles. Oh, it says Play-Doh. I like to play with Play-Doh because it is smushy and fun to make stuff. It smells bad. It comes in lots of colors. It comes from the makers of Play School. This is from Katie Latham, Allison R. in Miss Pearson's class, grade 2. Okay, in this grade 3, we have Nickelodeon Gak Splat. I don't know what that is. I guess that did go away after 25 years. Yeah, Nickelodeon Gak Splat. Oh, Power Rangers. That was popular in 1994. Oh, and a Polly Pocket. I saw it on Facebook that someone put their Polly Pocket in here. Let's read. There's directions. Polly Pocket. Girls like Polly Pockets because they are fun to use. Polly Pockets come with other Polly Pocket things. Some girls like Polly Pockets because you can do a lot of things like put them in your pocket. There you go. Some people like it because you can bring it wherever you go. From Kerry Weisberg and Miss Tomlinson's class. Miss Tomlinson's here representing tonight too. And there's the Polly Pocket. We're going to have these on display in a wonderful case all throughout the year for all of us to look at. Oh, and then we have an advertisement, your choice. Oh, it looks like I know Sonic. Sonic was out in 1994. He's still around today, too. Not much has changed. Oh, this is about Gak. Gak is sticky and mushy. It is fun. Gak is made from Nickelodeon, the only network for kids. Well, not so true anymore. If it dries out, put it in the sink for a few days. Brian Tonelli in Miss Sims' class. Okay, Miss Sims couldn't be with us tonight because she's away in her wonderful retirement travels. Oh, did you just see yourself in the sampling? Did you see yourself? Okay. Oh, this is the letter Miss Hazlitt wrote on John W. Deacon School, Leo Panuzzi, principal, Melissa Drake, assistant principal, June 2nd, 1994. Dear Deacon School students of 2019, as librarian of Deacon School and coordinator of the project to create this time capsule with our students, may I congratulate you on the 50th anniversary of your school. You should read this, Deb. You should be the one reading this. Our time capsule was created to commemorate the 25th anniversary of Deacon School and leave it with future students a little part of what life was like at Deacon School in 1994. This project was totally student-driven, with committees representing each grade responsible for producing each grade's donation to the time capsule. There is much excitement and enthusiasm among the students and teachers about this project. We wonder if perhaps one of our students is principal. I was a freshman in college. A teacher or a parent present at your celebration. We have that tonight. We have our parents. We have students from 25 years ago. Nice to see you all. And maybe a reporter covering the story for the newspaper. We've got the reporters and TV here tonight too. Each grade's contribution to the time capsule are as follows. Kindergarten, student pictures, signatures, t-shirt. Grade 1, got a t-shirt in there? Grade 2, report card. I look forward to seeing that. School logo and toys. Grade 3, newspaper, front page and toys. Grade 4, photo album. And a 1994 penny. We still have those around. Grade 5, letter to students and signature scroll. I think that you just put that out there too. Sincerely, Deborah Haslett, librarian. And this is Miss Haslett today. 25 years later. And I will let you all go around. Oh, look at this. This is so wonderful. Wareham Courier, June 9th, 1944. No, we're not going that far back. 1994. I have Elizabeth Whitehouse, Kristen Frederico, Danny Mayer, Marcy Harris, and Ryan Bellevue. He's going to be a doctor. Marcy is going to be a teacher. Danny, he's going to be a doctor too, and he's going to have some wife and kids. Kristen is going to work as a lawyer. And she's going to be a mom, and she's going to have a husband too. And Elizabeth Whitehouse, she's going to be a mother, and she's going to work as a teacher. And can you add that I'll have another husband or something? I'll have a husband. So there it is, Wareham Courier. How wonderful. We'll put this all on display.
So what are you planning to do with the time capsule?
We're going to put it on display at Deacon School, so it'll be available for open houses this year and any of our events. So we're going to put it in one of our display cases for everyone in the community to see.
So does it mean, did you guys follow on the tradition? Did you bury something this year?
Not yet. We were thinking about doing it for the new school, but it is something that we are talking about collecting together.
So you were the student and you were the teacher 25 years ago?
It was probably 27 at this point. Yeah.
27. We just met after many, many years.
Yes.
I had her in 3rd grade, and then for the capsule, you were in 5th grade.
Mr. Lanaville. Awesome.
Tell me how things were different back then compared to now, 25 years later.
Oh my goodness.
You know what? It still smells the same in here. It still has the same. I walked through those doors and I said, oh boy, right back in time.
I think our class sizes were larger then. I remember having maybe 30 students in my class, and now 20, 25. So.
To my understanding, everything within that time capsule is in there for you to go and take a look. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back with more. Ready for some history? Hello, Wareham. It is still Friday morning, and we are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio in Wareham. This is Good Morning Wareham, your source for local news, weather, traffic, and more information. And now for a moment in history, let's take a look at where we were today in history. Well, on this day in exploration history, Fernando Magellan's ship completes its voyage around the world in 1522. The ship named Victoria, one of the 5 that set sail on the expedition, made it back to Spain after being on voyage for 2 years. Magellan was the captain at the start of the journey, but was killed by a poison arrow while his crew was in the Philippines. 270 men had set sail in 1519, and only about 24 had made it back alive. Also today in art history, Henry David Thoreau leaves his home on Walden Pond and moves in with fellow writer Ralph Waldo Emerson in 1847. Thoreau would later publish his book Walden about the time he spent living in the woods by the pond. Thoreau, born in Massachusetts, would continue writing famous essays like his civil disobedience, and would become an avid abolitionist and help free slaves via the Underground Railroad. Also today in revolutionary history, Benedict Arnold burns down New London, Connecticut in 1781. Arnold was once a respected American leader until he gave over an American fort to British for 20,000 euros. Arnold then became even more hated when he led British troops into New London, where American supplies were being stored. The British troops loaded the town, then set fire to everything. Arnold would return to England after the war was over to live out the rest of his life. And for today's birthday, shout out goes to Idris Elba, famous actor born in London in 1972. With nearly 100 acting credits, he has played roles in many popular films and shows like The Office and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's all for today in the History segment. To learn more cool historical facts, please go online under history.com. Stay with us. The coffee segment is next. But first, here is Missy Diziak talking about funding and the great work at the Wareham Council on Aging. Remind us about this particular Council on Aging and the people that come here.
Well, this Council on Aging is very unique because a number of years ago, when the town did not pass the 2.5 override, the budget of the Council on Aging was completely cut. So there was 0 funding from the town, and that's been for about 5 years. Fortunately, we were able to get a grant 2.5 years ago, and I was hired for 6 months. And through additional grant money, I've stayed on for the next 2 years part-time, like 8 to 10 hours a week through grant money.
Tell us about the need in this community.
Well, the senior population, as in every town, but even more so in Wareham, continues to grow. So I would say a good 33% of the population of Wareham are senior citizens.
And are they seniors in need, seniors who are still working?
There's so many seniors in need in town. We have a wonderful new outreach worker, Kat Rowe, and she'll connect people to the agencies that can help them. So a person that needs food, maybe we can hook them up with Old Colony Elder Services. 150 meals a day, Monday through Friday, we deliver through volunteers. Volunteers come here, pick up the meals, and deliver them to homebound seniors. That number is going to continue to grow. And those are people that we're aware of who we now are giving services to. How many people are out there that aren't aware of the services. So that's a big part of our outreach, is to make people aware of what we can offer here.
Now, when the budget cuts or when the town reviews the budget, often the argument is, or the excuse is, that we're cutting a position or a department that isn't a priority in the community compared to others. And you guys were cut as well. What is your take when we cut Council on Aging while we have a growing population of senior citizens?
Well, to me, it's the one agency that shouldn't be cut, and I do believe that the people in this town realize how important the Council on Aging is. We've had lots of new volunteers coming in. People are aware of the Council on Aging now, and there's a lot we can do without funding. We certainly need funding. You need funding for a director. You have to have a director to oversee things. We can have volunteers leading trips or leading activities. That's fine, but you still need somebody to oversee all that.
Okay. So, seniors here, I visited the Council on Aging in Bourne. It was quite different from this Council on Aging here. Tell us about the restrictions in services that you cannot provide due to the lack of funding.
We can connect people to the correct services. We are very able to do that. There's many services out there that are free to seniors that don't have enough money. Food stamps, for example, we're trying to get more people on food stamps. That's not funding from the town, that's state and federal funding. Meals on Wheels, that's a federally funded program. So getting people involved in that does not cost the town money, it's just hooking them up to those services.
If you had all the funding you could, how would this Council on Aging look differently?
Number one, we'd have our own building, and we wouldn't be in the basement of an old school. But that's not going to happen. When I first came, that was kind of the first priority of the Council on Aging Board, was to find a location for us. We looked at a number of the old schools, but it would have cost millions of dollars to make it handicap accessible, to clean out the asbestos, to do things, so it just wasn't something that was going to happen. So I think we came to the realization that this is where we are now. One idea that was floated around a few years ago was to not merge, but maybe the Council on Aging could work out of the YMCA. I know the YMCA was looking to put on an addition at one point, and if we could work with them and we could have our offices there and exercise there, have a big room to serve lunches, I think that could be a possibility.
You're still fighting for them?
Still fighting for them, yes.
So in this fight, what is the biggest challenge apart from funding? Do you face any challenge from the community, people not relating to the cause?
I think the people in Wareham are very willing to help out. We also need them to come to town meeting to support the budget, because a budget is important. We finally gotten on the town budget for the first time in 5 years. We want to continue to be on the budget and hopefully see that budget increase year after year.
So speaking of a budget, we have Council on Aging, Police Department, School Department, Library. Those are just some that are coming in my head right now.
That's true.
So if you're in a panel and you had to defend yourself, why should you be permanently secured in the budget and to have that budget grow every year? What is the speech you would give?
Well, number one, we are one of the largest populations. Like I said, over 33% are seniors. Seniors have given their time and talents to work, to their town, to their churches, to their parks. It's not that they want to be taken care of, because most seniors don't need to be taken care of. They can take care of themselves, but to have a nice place to come and take classes, to exercise, to come see their friends. Those that can't afford to be able to come and get a hot meal every day. Those that can't afford things to be able to come and get help with food stamps, with a housekeeper, with somebody to help the spouse if one has Alzheimer's, one's disabled, if both are disabled, which is happening, to make them safe and secure in their home and know they're going to be taken care of.
I could tell you've been thinking of that response for a very long time.
Well, I just think, our seniors, of course, seniors are important, and they need to be taken care of.
And they will say children important.
Right.
They will say libraries important.
They are all important, and I don't think we always need to compete with each other.
Okay.
That's how I feel. Of course, they're all important. We have to make it so we can take care of all of them.
Now, are there ways that the Council on Aging could fundraise apart from seeking grants?
Actually, that is a great question because next month in September we are having our second casino night, which is run by the Wareham Friends of Elders and Wareham Advocates for Seniors, which are two fundraising groups for the Council on Aging. Town, we cannot fundraise.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay.
You did great.
Okay, you're gonna edit that thing, please? I hate this.
You can always learn about your local Wareham Council on Aging. Just visit them at the multi-service building. They're located in the basement. Miss Diziak is there, and she is always happy to see visitors and to teach you or to tell you a little bit about her work. They are looking for volunteers. Their work is quite needed. The need is vast in our community, and therefore, if you have some time to spare, please do visit your own Council on Aging. So now we're going to take a nice break, and when we come back, we will feature coffee segment video. From the bogs, the vines, to the berry, cranberries are one of the most unique fruits, and its industry influences the economy and character of southeastern Massachusetts. Cranberries are so important that there is an entire department, nope, an entire facility dedicated just for their survival. That place is nowhere but right here in Wareham. Just off Spectacle Pond Road at One State Bog Road in East Wareham stands the UMass Cranberry Station. This affiliate of the University of Massachusetts Amherst traces back to 1911 under the guardianship of Dr. Henry Franklin. For longer than 100 years, the station has been conducting experiments and research on behalf of the cranberry industry in Massachusetts.
Our whole mission is to really provide whatever horticultural resources and solutions that the growers need in order to remain viable within this area, and to also have environmental stewardship, so that we, think about the citizens that live in this area and the impact that our industry has.
Using experiments, the center helps farmers to be flexible with the industry's demands. Currently, farmers are under pressure to produce a certain quality of berry, distinguished by color and firmness, a task that has fallen on Dr. Giverson Mupambe.
But sometimes what we've noticed in the past seasons that growers are struggling to get that color. So these plant growth regulators that we're thinking about, we're thinking specifically of abscisic acid, which has been shown to improve the anthocyanin concentration. So anthocyanin is the pigment that gives the fruit its red color.
Dr. Mupambe is searching for whether improving formation of anthocyanin may produce the right shade of redness. Furthermore, he is studying canopy management.
Because the other factor when you think about fruit colors, you need light penetration into your canopy. How much light penetration do you get in the canopy, and does that result in a more uniform coloring within the canopy? So normally if you go in the canopy and you open it up, you find that the berries at the bottom of the canopy, usually they struggle to color up, even when you have like a nice uniform red color on the top. And we think some of that has to do with the lack of light penetration into the bottom of the canopy.
There is also the challenge of climate change. Take anthocyanin, for example. The color pigment is triggered by light penetration, but mostly by cooler temperatures. Our most recent winters haven't been favorable.
I don't know if you remember last September, we probably had 6 or 7 nights. It didn't go below 70 degrees, and that's way too warm. And so what's happening is that the color doesn't develop, and the handlers want you to bring in a fruit that has a certain amount of red pigment, because that's what cranberries are known for. So you're waiting for the color development, but the longer the fruits stay out in the bog, the greater chance that they're going to lose quality, because they're going to start succumbing to fruit rot.
The abundance of rainfall also has proved irresponsible, at times flooding the vines, which can lead to fruit loss. Though irrigation is important, specifics matters, as Dr. Peter Jerenyama explains.
You can't grow a plant without water. But then the question becomes, how much water do we need to put in there? Because we have a tendency of over-irrigating. Like, there's this notion that cranberry requires 1 inch of water a week, 1 inch of water per week. But that is not based on any scientific reasoning.
So Dr. Jerenyama and his colleagues have come up with something called evaporated demand, a way to determine the exact amount of water needed at a given time.
Right here, I'm carrying one of the sensors. This is called a tensiometer. You can view this like a big, a giant root in the soil. So it has a ceramic tip. So having a ceramic, so you put this device in the soil, and the water is going to be absorbed through the ceramic tip. And the amount of water that is taken into the cylinder will equate to a certain amount of pressure that will be recorded on a recording device. So we've come up with a relationship between stress levels based on the tension that you get in the soil. So the wetter the soils are, the lower the tension is going to be. And the drier the soils are, the greater the tension is going to be. So that's why we know when it is too wet or when it is too dry.
The center is also helping farmers harvest berries that can make the weight. Currently, the incentive starts at $4.55 to $5.50 kilogram per millimeter. What have you seen in terms of maybe trends with pesticides? What is threatening the berry at the moment?
So our trends with pesticides have been moving away from very toxic, broad spectrum, particularly insecticides, to things that we call reduced risk, that are more targeted.
We do have some cranberry insects that are pests, and a lot of them. Because it's a native fruit, we have 25 different insect pests. He's rolled up because he's been eating cranberry all day. There's a gypsy moth there, and then another cutworm. Cranberry weevil is a tiny insect that has been causing a lot of trouble this year. We do have to put on sprays to manage these insects, or they will eat all of your flowers and you will get no cranberries. So in entomology, we have 25 or 30 different insects that we're always thinking about. And there are new insects like scale. If you can imagine that you have your upright and there's something that looks like that on there, so you can't even see it unless it's under the microscope. This is a new insect that we haven't seen in 80 years. So that one's kind of cool. And right now the crawlers, little babies, are being released out of there, so that's another problem for the growers.
Why are they coming back after 80 years?
Either because there's climate change and good conditions for them, or we're not using broad spectrum pesticides anymore where we're spraying and killing everything so that there's the opening for them, or we have new varieties that are softer tissued and give them the option. We don't know.
Are there any pesticides that are good for the berry?
We do have a number of insecticides now that instead of being broad spectrum, they're specific to the insect. And yes, the one that we have, cranberry fruitworm, which is a little moth that lays its egg on the berry as it's developing, we have a new compound called Altacor that doesn't hurt bees, doesn't hurt us, but targets just that fruitworm. So we feel that that's the magic new insecticide that we have that has really helped us out. Of course, it costs about $50 an acre, so it's expensive for the growers.
The services and research conducted here are available to farmers for free. The center helps farmers connect to the bottom line on the cost saved and the money made if they choose to implement the knowledge. But lately, knowledge hasn't been enough as the industry faces substantial doubts. Would you say the industry is flourishing?
No, not at all. The industry is very much struggling at this time because there's an oversupply of fruit, and so prices are depressed. And so it's predicted that for the majority of the industry this year, growers will be paid less per barrel than it costs them to produce that barrel. So we figure it costs maybe $25 to $30 a barrel to produce it. Growers are probably going to be paid $20 or less. So they'll actually be losing money for every barrel of cranberries that they produce.
So then they come to you and they from what you told me, the industry is struggling. They're facing an enormous amount of stress from the handlers.
Yep.
So what do they say to you?
And what do we say to them? I mean, you know, what's really hard about this industry is that we know a lot of our growers. I mean, you know, some of them are friends. At least
growers are pushed to diversify in order to supplement their income. Currently, an area of interest is on renewable energy. Tell me about the research when we're looking at renewable energy. How does it fit in with the cranberry bogs?
So, well, and then again, that's a great question. If you drive just down 495, you'll see that there's some windmills out there. So some of the growers are looking into wind energy, again, to supplement their farm income, which is on a downward trek, unfortunately. And then solar farms are something that some growers are looking at. There's the dual use SMART program, which the state is looking for, trying to provide some ways for farms to diversify so they can have alternate forms of income. So that's one way. It's still very much in a fledgling state. You know, there are not any cranberry projects yet where they're still trying to grow cranberries with the solar panels on top of them.
To briefly summarize the UMass Cranberry Center, think of it as a hospital, strictly for the cranberries. Whether you are a grower or just a consumer, there is so much to be learned about this northern native perennial berry. So it seems like there are a lot of cool things that are happening here. I will call them miracles, but how far can your work extend? What can Apologize that we had to cut the video short, but you can find it on our website, Wareham Community Television, on YouTube, Cranberry Video. This concludes the morning program. Join us on Monday with more. This program will air this evening at 6 p.m. And with that, I wish you all a wonderful day, Wareham. Bye-bye.